So today we're going to be talking about Pear Deck. Pear Deck's one of my favorite platforms to use, especially with remote learning, but it's even good as well as in the classroom. So we're going to start with the basics with Pear Deck today, just get a basic introduction of how Pear Deck can best serve you. So the first thing is Pear Deck works great with PowerPoint and with Google Slides. For me, it works. I use Google Slides, and so we're going to just start with a Google slide presentation and see how we can have Pear Deck work with it. So I'm going to open up this presentation here. What I want to do first is make sure that my slides are all set up. Okay, so that's the first part. You want to make sure that your actual Google slide deck is all set up. And then you want to make sure once you have you want to make sure that you have your Pear Deck installed. So you noticed here, this is my Pear Deck platform. So whenever I want to add anything, such as a Pear Deck, any Pear Deck component, I just simply click on this right here. Okay, that will activate Pear Deck. And the great thing about Pear Deck is all of these questions here, these are all the various questions formats that you can use. And so let's start here. I have an attendance question. So if you have the premium version, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on draw, and I'm going to ask the students to circle their particular like. Okay, now I want to type that on the screen. Obviously, I want to put on my Google slide. I'd want to say circle your choice. Okay, so I'm using the draw function just for a basic thing. And what happens with the draw function is you click on it, the students are going to actually circle it. They could use whatever design they want to. It's basically freehand. Okay, so now I'm going to move to another function. Okay, so let's say I have a quizzes. I have a quizzes I want to use. All right, so right here I have a website, and I'm going to simply click here. This is the website tool, and it will allow me to put in a particular, any website, but this is where it becomes really cool. So I could put in a video, but for this purpose, I'm just going to do a quizzes. Okay, so I already have quizzes, many of them, and let's say I'm going to do it on the Constitution. And what I would do, I would simply get my link here for this particular quizzes, and I can then put it into the Pear Deck. So boom, here it goes. And now the students can actually access this from the Pear Deck, and they could do the questions, they could come back, or you could just simply watch them do the quizzes. Um, they have the link to it. You want to make sure that you do give the students the link that is a student link. In this particular case, this is my link, but you want to give the students the student link so they can access it directly. One of the other ways that you can use Pear Deck is here. So here I've embedded a question onto my Google Slides with a YouTube video. And you can see that the students have the option. So this comes from the multiple choice option. What is the role of the legislative branch? So I've clicked on this, and it creates the option for me to create the answers. So you want to make sure that your question is on the Google slide, but once you have that done, you simply put in the answers and boom, it's done. And so now that's ready to go. I like to incorporate many different types of formats because it's more interactive for the students. So as I navigate through here, the students are, they have multiple choice questions here. Now this one, I've decided to use icons because I want to see how well the students respond to this particular question. Okay, and I want to see if they're reading. Now, basically that is what is called draggable. Draggable and draw both come with the premium versions. So when the student sees this, they are going to be moving the icons according to what the arguments are. Now, the cool thing about this is I can actually see this in real time. So in real time, I'm going to see the students actually moving these because once I activate the dashboard, the teacher dashboard, I see everything they're doing with the Pear Deck. It's super interactive and you can see it live, and we'll get to that in just a minute. So we've done the draggable, we've done the draw, we've done the choice, we can do the number as well. I also use the writing component quite often, okay? You can see that I've inserted the draw component here, and this once again is really good because you can see if the students get the main idea, you can have them highlight. I will put questions like highlight, or as you can see here, I want them to annotate, okay? And then let's get to the writing response. Okay, so I have given them a sentence starter and I want them to write this. Now this comes from the text tool. So I click on that and basically it gives the students, it's gonna give them the write the response. Once again, I see this in real time as they're actually doing it. So I have these various tools. The number tool I could use as well. The number tool works well for a lot of things if you want them to number paragraphs or ideas or things such as that. It's a great tool. I also can click here and add audio to the slide. So I actually put audio instructions for my students because I figured, okay, I've given them the visual tool, I'm gonna give them the audio tool. It's like I'm gonna bombard them so they don't say, okay, I don't know what to do. It's like, okay, well, I just recorded the audio instructions, so you need to actually listen to those as well. Works great for remote learning, works great for asynchronous learning because there's no questions. Like you've just given them step by step what they need to do here. Okay, so once I'm done, I'm ready to start the lesson. Okay. Now, all I do is this, start the lesson. This will generate an opportunity. If you want to do it instructor pace, that means you are in control of it. I typically leave my lessons at student pace. When they come into class, they get this, and this is what happens. So they have, now it's launching the presentation, and they're going to get a link. The link's generated. In my Zoom sessions, I simply copy that, I put it in to the chat, and I have a student that will constantly post it as people come in because typically in my room, in my sessions, people are coming in all times. So they just post that and they could jump on wherever they're at. And basically that's your presentation. It's ready to go. And you can keep this at student pace for 30 days. So students can access this for 30 days. So once my students are done, and I could do this in the session itself, I could end the session and then open up another session of the same identical Google presentation. It'll give me that option, and the different classes log in at different times. I just click on end session. Now, let's say I do want to end the session, or I want to just turn off the student pace and go to instructor pace. I can do that. I can leave the session, and once I end the session, basically, so if I click this, it's going to say, yes, okay, leave and allow. If I want to allow the students to keep working, I can do that. I do this. I always want to title it because you're going to get lots of these. So let's say I've titled it P1, okay, save end session. Now, this is going to give takeaways. These are notes that go back to the students and they could access them at any time. They go right back to their Google Drive. All the notes that they've taken are now there. And so the students now have a running note-taking ability with Pear Deck. They've got the notes. So if anytime they need to access them, they're there. So that's all for this session.